Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. United States President Joe Biden told reporters that the United States will not be providing F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. Ukraine's defense minister had said last week that he would push for Western fourth-generation fighter planes, such as the US F-16, after securing supplies of battle tanks. Here's more from Łukasz Muda of Telewizja Republika. Biden also said on Monday that he will visit Poland, but does not know when, after reports suggested he is considering a trip to Europe to coincide with the 24th February anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Trip to Poland next month. I'm going to go to Poland.
Ukraine won a huge boost for its troops last week when Germany and the United States announced plans to provide heavy tanks, ending weeks of diplomatic deadlock on the issue. Poland, Ukraine's neighbour on its western border, has positioned itself as one of the Kyiv government's staunchest allies. Our ally supports us militarily, both in terms of troops on Polish territory and the supply of weapons. Last year, Poland became an important point on the European map for the United States. It is the main conduit for military and humanitarian aid to embattled Ukraine. Poland is increasingly being described as Kyiv's staunchest ally in the Western media. For us Poles, a member of NATO, because the main player on the international stage is the United States, this is very good news. NATO command structures and United States troops from the Allies' eastern flank are present in Poland. Following Russian aggression against Ukraine, a further 4,000 US troops were sent to Poland. In all, about 10,000 United States military personnel are currently stationed in Poland. This is another proof of Poland's key role in this war. Poland is an increasingly important country in the world, a country whose voice is already heard seriously. This year's security conference will be held in Munich, Germany from the 17th to the 19th of February. It is expected that this is where the European visit of President Joe Biden, the leader of the world's most powerful superpower, will begin. The United States' support for Poland and the rapprochement between Washington and Warsaw is also a strong signal to Vladimir Putin. Until now, the main US military base in Europe has been Ramstein in Germany. This is also a message to Russia that with this aggression it has brought the limit of NATO's active defense asset closer to Russia's borders. Marcin Przydacz, a minister in the Polish president's office, is on a visit to the United States. He's going to discuss issues related to the strengthening of Poland's security and also discuss the details of Joe Biden's upcoming visit to Poland. TVN, owned by Warner Media, wants to ban the independent Polish Free Speech Zone media from reporting on its manipulation of the Smolensk disaster. It is trying to use all legal means, including those that can only be used in exceptional circumstances. This is yet another attempt to silence other media and stifle the free speech zone. TVN has filed a lawsuit against Forum SA and its editor-in-chief, Tomasz Sakiewicz. It has also applied to be granted an injunction pending trial. The court granted the request in part as far as Forum SA is concerned. The idea is that if a text about the case is published, it will have to include a note stating that it's part of the case brought by TVN. We've been informed that TVN's lawyers have filed a motion to justify this order. We have also filed such a request. We have no idea at this stage whether there will be any further action on their part. As we do not agree with any attempt to censor and silence our media, I, as president of the management board of Forum SA and publisher of Gazeta Polska Codzienna, have instructed our lawyers to file a motion to justify the decision. It takes a 2-month course at the Leopard Tank Training Centre in Western Poland to make soldiers ready to join the crew in a combat battalion. Ukrainian tank crews are likely to start their Leopard tank training in Świętoszów very soon. Polish officers at the Świętoszów Training Centre in Poland, which might soon be one of the places where Ukrainian soldiers will learn to operate Leopard 2 tanks, said that they can train a tank's crew in just 5 weeks if needed. The village of Świętoszów in western Poland, close to the German border, is one of only 3 locations in Europe, the other 2 being in Germany and Switzerland, where soldiers can learn to operate Leopard tanks. The Polish military declined to confirm to Reuters the exact location of the Ukrainians' future training, but local media say Świętoszów is the most likely location. A coalition of countries led by Poland was formed in January to provide Ukraine with Leopard 2 battle tanks, and on the 20th of January, Ukraine's defense minister, Oleksiy Reznikov, said that Ukrainian forces will train on Leopard 2 tanks in Poland. In the training centre, equipped with simulators and staffed by professional instructors, 14 crews of 4 can train at once. The training usually takes 10 weeks, but instructors say with a little investment, this could be reduced to 5 weeks. At the moment, we run 5 courses at the Leopard Training Centre. One of the courses is for the tank crews, so for the gunner, loader and commander. The second course is for the tank drivers for Leopard 2A4, 2A5 and 2PL. Above that, we also run specialist courses for mechanics for the army armour, the chassis and additional equipment that goes with Leopard tanks.
Uzbrojenia, podwozia oraz sprzętu towarzyszącego Leopardom. Myślę, że bardzo łatwo.
I think it is relatively easy to move from the post-Soviet equipment to the latest generation equipment. It is not such a big difference. It is only a matter of training the drivers, the gunners. The rules of firing stay the same on this tank as on the others.
Nawet na tym czołgu czy na tym. Jeżeli pan mówi o przeszkoleniu z czołgu.
When we talk about training someone who used to work with the post-Soviet tanks to work with the tanks like Leopards or Abrams, 10 weeks of training is sufficient. If we intensify the training at the expense of instructors' time and at the expense of our weekends, we're able to train a crew that comes from the post-Soviet equipment in 5 weeks so that they can work on the new generation equipment.
Na sprzęt nowej generacji.
Na symulatorach mamy to.
Having a simulator allows us to prepare the participant of the course to the function he will be responsible for in the real equipment that he will be driving. The simulator also gives us a higher level of health and safety during the training before we let the soldier get on board the tank that weighs 60 tons.
Większą kontrolę pod bezpieczeństwo i higienę pracy. Różnica polega na tym,
The difference is that the Leopard tank is a third generation tank. Its mobility in diversified terrain is greater compared to the tanks of the Russian type.
zwiększona. Mogę porównać.
I can compare it to the situation when you can either have a Fiat 126P or a used Mercedes. It is easier and more convenient to drive a used Mercedes than a new Fiat 126P.
Łatwiej i wygodniej jeździ się używanym Mercedesem.
The soldiers can practice for different roles and on 3 different models of Leopard 2 tanks that are available in the centre. The older 2A4 version, the newer 2A5 model, and the 2PL model, modernised for the Polish army. We see 3 versions of Leopard 2 tanks behind me. The earliest version is the Leopard 2A4. The next one is the 2A5 modernised by the Bundeswehr, and the lastest tank we received in our training centre, the Leopard 2PL. We are currently training soldiers from the 15th Brigade and we train them on those 3 models of tanks. After 2 months of training, they are completely prepared to join the crew at the combat battalion. And it doesn't depend on the model? It doesn't depend on the model. The tanks are very similar, so there is no problem. Now it is just a matter of the use of specific elements because the tank sights were modernized as well as some other elements. The final stage of the training is the biggest challenge, which is finished with the training on the simulators, and the last part is firing the tank. We are now in the department where we train the armament mechanics. In this department we train soldiers who specialise in servicing the turret as well as the firing system and removing the malfunctions. The length of the training differs depending on the type of tank, but it usually lasts from 3 to 6 months. Every model from the Leopard family, 2A4, 2A5 and 2PL, are totally different tanks when it comes to equipment, servicing and fixing the turret. There are 3 different tanks and each course is different and presents a different set of knowledge. On the 20th of January, Ukraine's Defence Minister Oleksiy Reznikov said that Ukrainian forces will train on Leopard 2 tanks in Poland. The exact location has not yet been confirmed. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.